Hey, it's Jamie back with Thoughtful Horsemanship. We are back with Shorty, and she is the horse that came in that had some major issues in the past with a different trainer. So we're trying to get her kind of figuring out what she knows, doesn't know, along with trying to also kind of get her reconnected with her handler, whoever that may be, whether it's me or her owner. And so here I'm just kind of getting her used to that lunge whip, smacking it on the ground and that sort of thing. And then I'm going to fling it up over her back and just kind of see how she handles that. And all during that time, you saw while she was leading, she was a little hesitant to come forward up next to it. Her head was up in the air. And here she kind of starts to drop her head. And I'm just waiting for her to lick her lips, take a sigh, do something like that to tell me that she's okay with it. But then I go to the other side and she sticks her head back up in the air. She's not real sure about it. And I'm just going to kind of keep switching sides, kind of switch things up a little bit. And when she does get stuck, which she didn't on this go around, but when she does get stuck, I'm going to kind of move her feet, not pull directly straight forward, but go to the side. And there I flung it up over her back, and she was a little more okay with that side than her right side. But I'm still going to wait, try to get her to take a deep breath, lick her lips. There she goes. I'm just kind of waiting to see if she has anything else in there. If she has more licking and chewing to do, or another sigh or something to do. And I did speed this video up just because it was a longer video again. And so there I just have a rope. I just kind of flung it up over her back. Just kind of checking it out. I'm just going to kind of check her cinch area with it. See how she reacts with it. She did pretty good. Nothing explosive, not taken off. Anything like that way. And I'm liking how she's dropping her head, kind of trying to think things through. For the most part, she's very upright, got her head up in the air, kind of like a giraffe. And so her dropping her head is a start of her telling me that she's trying to process what's going on. She's trying to work with being okay with what we're doing. It's not saying she is okay with it, but she's trying to process what's going on. And so I'm just waiting for the same thing, just kind of waiting for her to look and chew, take a breath, something, before we go on to the next step. And she might look away a little bit. There she's kind of looking off to the side. Not necessarily on me, but then she comes back to me, which is great. And she actually there turns towards me. She kind of licks a little bit, chews a little bit. And I'm just kind of waiting to see if she's got anything more. This mare's got a lot of worry, a lot of tenseness, and so just trying to get her to kind of reconnect with her handler is going to be a big challenge for the two of us. Just kind of trying to undo some of what happened. Not exactly sure what happened, but her owner specified that this is not normal. It's not normal for her to be standoffish, hard to catch, head up in the air. She sent me other pictures of this mare. Looks total night and day from what she used to look like. So I'm just trying to get her back to where she can process things like she used to and not have some major issues. And so with these horses that are really shut down like this, you really need to take the time to understand what's going on in their head, really need to take the time to let them understand what you're asking of them and not push them super fast. We still need to push them and get them thinking and get them to understand what we're asking, but not push them as fast as what we can some of the other horses. And there you can see she really started to lick and let down and understand what I had done with her. And so I'm going to do it on the other side. You can see she's a little worried. Her neck goes straight up in the air. And I'm just kind of scratching on her. And you have to understand that this mare, even to scratch and pet on her, is a big deal because she doesn't want you to even do that. With a leader open halter, she realizes she can't really go anywhere. But even in her stall, she's hard to catch, doesn't want you rubbing on her, like doesn't want you touching her, nothing. You can kind of get up to her in a stall, and then when you go to rub on her shoulder, rub on her neck, she'll take off or go the other way. And her owner said that was not how she used to be. And so here I'm just going to take and kind of pick her feet up with that rope. The day before, I picked her feet up with my hands, and she was real stiff. And so I'm just kind of going back to basics, making her realize that she can pick up her feet. It's not the end of the world. And, she'll be okay from doing it. And so I'm actually going sideways. I'm not going forward so much. I'm going sideways and forward. So it's kind of both. So that way she has to kind of follow. And there she tried to put me on the left side, even though she's on the right. I'm trying to get her to pick her foot up and cross it over that other foot. And I'll do the other foot. I'm just kind of waiting to see again if she's going to take a breath or take a sigh. Lick her lips. There she licked her lips a little bit. I'll do her other leg. And I'll kind of do the same thing. Get her to kind of step forward. And we'll kind of go sideways. Forward and sideways. So that way she has to follow with that other leg to the side. And this is a good way on how most people start teaching their horses how to be hobble trained as well. It teaches them not to panic if they get their legs stuck in wire or tangled up or anything like that. So it's always a good idea to kind of teach a horse how to lead by their foot, because you never know what they're going to encounter in the future. I'm just going to kind of wait again, give her that chance to take a breath, take a sigh. And if you notice, by the end of every time I kind of ask her to do something new, she has her head lower versus when I first started, which is a huge improvement. Here I'm just kind of asking her to jip around a little bit. She kind of shows me that she knows a little bit about it. She free lunges pretty good, but I want her to be able to be on the end of that line. Didn't ask her for anything fancy. Didn't ask her for trotting or loping. Just a walk for right now. You have to start with the basics. I always start with a walk, and then we can move to the trot and lope later. And I'm just waiting for her to kind of lick, like what she does right there. She's licking and chewing. She lowered her head. Huge plus on her part. Now switch sides. We're going to go the other way. And she kind of gets hesitant at first, and then she goes, which is fine. Gonna ask her to stop. And you notice there she put me on her left side instead of staying on her right side. So I'm gonna go back up to her right side. She put me back on her left side. Gonna go back on her right side. When I ask a horse to stop from lunging, I just tilt my head towards their hindquarters. I also bring the energy down in my body so that they know that they should stop. If they don't stop, I'll pick up on that lead rope a little bit. Here I'm just going to ask her to flex. If she moves, I'm going to move with her. And just barely at first, I'm going to ask just for the corner of her eye. And that was the first thing she did. And then the second thing, she came around and bent it further, which was great. I'm just going to wait for her a little bit. Ask again if she's kind of stuck. And there I'm going to ask for her to move her hindquarters over. And I do have videos of how to teach them how to kind of move their hindquarters over. And there she goes. She tried to put me on her left side again. I'm just going to wait. Let her kind of process what we just did. This is not something that she's been asked to do before, so it's a little harder for them sometimes when they are first learning things, especially if they've not been handled a whole lot and taught to give off of pressure the way I don't think she has. And the way I incorporate it is I make it, and I ask where your leg would be if you were in the saddle, so that way it transitions really well into the saddle. And some people will teach them to move over or move their hip over when they're babies, you know, by touching on their hip. But now that this is older mare, we need to kind of incorporate it all together. So here she's kind of stuck looking off in the distance. She's not really even looking or paying attention to me. She's kind of really focused over there. I'm just going to wait. She kind of looked away, and I'm going to bump her back just ever so slightly back to me. I don't mind them looking, but then there comes a point in time when they have to come back to reality, come back and pay attention to me and what I'm asking. Gonna bend her around again. Gonna ask again to move her hips, and that time she figured it out a lot sooner. I did have to twirl the end of the lead rope a little bit, but she did move off a lot faster. Sometimes when they struggle with it for quite an extended period of time, I will ask the same request again to kind of reiterate it. And there you see she really shook. She's licking her lips. And that's what I really wanted. So I'm going to go to the other side. Flex her. There she went further than she did the right the first time. I'm not only looking for how far they can flex, but also lightness. I want them light. So now we're going to ask move the hips again and release as soon as she moves. May not always be correct, but she tried for me. You see how her head is instantly lower now than what it was when I first asked. And she did lick her lips. I'm going to move her hips again. Actually, this time I think I was just trying to get her to flex versus move her hips. I'm going to ask her to flex and move her hips this time. And if they just move the front feet, it doesn't count. You got to get the back feet to move. Just kind of licking and chewing there, kind of processing what we just worked on, which is huge for her. Flex on that side again, and I'm going to go back over here. Just ask her to flex. And there she kind of moved, and so I'm just going to go with her. And when she quits moving her feet, and there she's kind of stuck looking off in the distance. I'm just going to keep asking for that flex until she gives, but quits moving her feet. And that was pretty decent compared to what she was doing. I'm just going to wait for a little bit and see what she gives me. And this is a longer video. This is a tougher mare, tougher situation. So some of these videos with her do get a little long. Just because even though I speed them up, it's still a long process. As I said earlier, with these types of horses, you can't rush them. You have to let them take their time and build that trust back up, gain their trust, because at this point, she has no trust of people at all. So we really need to kind of get that coming back to her. Just going to kind of bump her back over by me. Tell her, hey, you need to come back by me instead of paying attention to everything else. And then she does. And then she looks away. And then I'm going to bump her back over by me. You can see I don't take a ton out of the lead rope. I try to leave it fairly loose, give her that option. And that's a lot better. She drops her head, kind of paying attention, more attention to me. There she's even kind of smelling of me, which is the first time she's done that. She's not offered to do that previously. So that's her reaching out to me, not me reaching out to her. Huge improvement. There she's kind of rubbing on me, and I'm going to let her just so she can kind of realize that, hey, you know, I might stick my hand out and scratch on her face just like that if she's got an itchy spot. I want her to be able to trust me to be able to do that. So that is a huge, huge improvement over the last couple days of her being super shut down, not wanting to do anything. So I'm really excited about that. Just because that is her first kind of reaching out towards me, saying, okay, maybe you're not that bad. So if you have any questions about her or any other horses that we've done or seen, let me know. If you have a specific question, let me know. Otherwise, keep posted for more on this mare.